everybody, welcome to AMA session. This is Oscar from 63K PCAM. The hotspots of the market rotate constantly. I was still playing NFT a few days ago, but guess what? GameFi has taken everyone's attention lately. We're destined to get whacked if we can now catch up with the next round of the hotspots. In addition to Web 3.0, I'm also paying close attention to Minterest, one of the decentralized liquidation projects strongly supported by DFG. But why on earth is the next hotspot? Let's go find out. It's such an honor to have Mr. Josh, CEO of Minterest, to join our community and talk about the evolutionary history of the liquidation and Minterest itself, a project focused on on-chain liquidation. Hi Josh, it's so great to have you here. Please say hi and introduce yourself.
Well, hi everyone, and thank you so much for having me here. Delighted to be here to talk about Minterest.
Well, thanks for that. Now, without further ado, let's go to today's topic. Ask me anything. Now, we have many good questions, and we picked 5 of them. The winners are going to share the community airdrops in return. So, all right, here comes the first question. Can you please explain what liquidation is and why do we need it in our daily life at trading, and how does it work?
Look, it's a great question. The reason liquidations occur in lending protocols is because lending protocols are what are known as over-collateralized. So what that means is the borrower has to put up more collateral than they actually borrow. So they end up with 2 pools of assets, their collateral and whatever it is that they borrow. And liquidations occur when the ratio of collateral to borrowing is below a certain threshold. And when that occurs, that means there's not enough collateral available. And so a liquidation event occurs where the collateral is sold down. And there are different models for that, but ostensibly, that's normally run by third-party liquidators. But in a nutshell, that's how that is done.
All right, thanks for that. Well, here comes number 2. What was liquidation like in early days, and how to carry out off-chain liquidation now?
I love this question because it has the word early days, talking about DeFi, and DeFi is really only about a year and a half old.
Right.
But but literally the way the model is done is that liquidators are external to the protocol. So they're people or users who operate outside the protocol itself. They scan the protocol, with bots. And when a borrower is under collateralized, which means they don't have enough collateral anymore because there's been a movement in the prices of the borrowed or the lent asset, or the interest rate that they're paying has eroded their collateral, then the liquidators step in, and the liquidators pay out the loan account, and they buy out the position of the borrower, and they buy them out at a discount, and that's their fee. So you can think about that something's worth $100 on market, but you're able to buy it for 90. You buy it for 90, and then you sell it on market for 100 instantaneously, and you've made a fee of $10. And that's actually how the liquidators make profit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for that.
So that's the old. No problem. That's the old model. And what we've done is something completely different, which is we built out an auto liquidation process where all of the liquidation is done on chain. And that's really one of the unique aspects of Minterest.
Okay, yeah, understand. Excellent. Well, number 3 question is, you can help us understand, give us a better understanding what Minterest is and how that is work exactly.
Look, so Minterest is a lending protocol, much like protocols like Aave and Compound. The thing that makes Minterest different is in 2 key areas. One is in what is known as value capture. So what value capture means is how do you kind of collect fees, right, as a protocol? How do you make revenue or money? And the normal way that protocols do that is that they earn interest income. And they earn interest income because there's a difference between how much the lender repays and how much the borrower receives, and that's their fee. The thing that's different, though, is that Minterest has an auto liquidation process. The protocol runs the liquidation, so it makes the fee. It earns the liquidation fee and not the external liquidator. So suddenly what that does to Minterest is it makes it able to capture more value than any other protocol like on a kind of a direct comparison basis. It means that the protocol is able to earn significant revenue that is not possible in other models. And why that's important is because of what we do with that actual surplus. So the protocol itself automatically goes out and spends its operating surplus buying back its own tokens. And then it gives those tokens back to the users in the community. Okay. And what that reason that's important is obviously the protocol is going to have an impact on price because it's a buyer in the market that would not otherwise be there. And when you impact that price, what you also do is you impact the value of the token that we give to people as an incentive to participate. So in short, why all this matters is because the more liquidity that comes into the protocol, the more that we support the token price, and the more we support the token price, the more liquidity comes into the protocol. And that's what's known as the flywheel effect. It's a self-reinforcing flywheel effect. Operates a bit like a snowball rolling down a hill. The bigger it gets, the bigger it gets. And those flywheel effects are common in traditional technology startups. You see them in Facebook and Google, but this type of flywheel effect, or it's actually a network effect, is new in DeFi, and that's part of Minterest design.
Okay.
So that's a long answer.
Yeah.
A long answer, but that's the full answer.
Well, that'll help people understand what Minterest is exactly. Well, thanks very much. So here's the fourth question. What's the size of the demand for on-chain liquidation? And for Minterest, what is the advantage of the decentralized liquidation compared to centralized liquidation institutions?
Look, the value of liquidation fees in DeFi today is measured in hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, it's extremely significant. And that value is not being captured by the protocols in DeFi. It's all going to liquidators. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to criticize liquidators. They provided a valuable role. But they provide a valuable role, but they're just not worth the price anymore.
Indeed.
They're not worth the amount of money.
Right.
And so what Minterest does is it captures that money. Mm-hmm. And that's very significant. That's a very, so the answer is, we expect that liquidation fees in Minterest will be significant. And because they are significant in other lending protocols as well, as they're only a very small amount of the total volume that occurs, but the volume that occurs is so big that the actual liquidation fees in dollar terms are large. Okay. And that's important. And really, the decentralized advantage of Minterest liquidation is really the same answer as why decentralized is an advantage to traditional finance. And that is that you don't need to trust your banker or your credit manager to determine whether or not you're in default. Code is law, and the rules are transparent. Everyone understands the rules, and if you operate within the rules, then you're not being liquidated. And so, from my perspective, that's a much fairer finance system than one where we have a big banking institution and the credit manager changes their mind, and then suddenly, you're having to sell your house. So, that's really that's the key difference. It's one of transparency, which is conditional for all decentralized, all on blockchain projects. But it's a significant difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for that. And well, last but not least, and this is one of my favorites, what do your partners think about Minterest? Any interesting standpoint to share?
Well, the answer is it's always difficult for me to tell you what they think, but we have excellent partners. So I think one of the ways that people could make a judgment about the quality of what our partners think about us is by looking at the quality of our partners. And, we've just announced that we're partnering as a parachain with Moonbeam, which is a very significant parachain on Polkadot. We're partnering with Chainlink, who are the largest pricing oracle. One of our key advisors who has been with us from the start is David Post, who's the managing director of Chainlink. Mm-hmm. We have a very substantial, very credible, portfolio of advisors. with deep experience in blockchain, and I think that says that's probably a good indication of how they feel about the project. I'd like to say that they think the project's great, but I can't speak for other people. I don't like doing that, but I think the quality of people we have says a lot. And there's a question that you said, is there any interesting standpoints? And one of the funny things that happens here in our team on Slack is that we also have Yuri, who's one of our Yuri Van Gielen, who's one of our advisors, who also works with API 3. So we have David and Yuri having kind of emoji wars on Slack about which one is a better pricing.
Okay. Right.
So. And the funny answer is that we're actually going to use both of them. We're going to have we're always going to have redundancy in our pricing oracles.
Yeah.
So we'll end up having 2 or 3 of them, in order to make sure that the protocol always, is not open to exploit. That's a key area of security for the protocol. So we end up having both these great pricing oracle kind of projects, and we're going to be in partnership with both.
All right, cool. That's very funny. Thanks for sharing. I have an extra question, that's kind of personal question. What makes you think you want to make this, and where do you see Minterest in, let's say, in 5 years?
Look, I have a competitive advantage in startups, and I only have one, and that is I'm older than everybody else. Okay. I started building startups back in 1996. Okay. And I modeled out the world's first point-to-point telco. I got involved in content platforms and marketplaces all through the Nordics. I did a lot of work in Asia. I worked in Japan and also in China on platforms there. But the key thing is that blockchain is just so exciting. I can't not be involved in it. And DeFi is what DeFi seems like. It's becoming like a very substantial business. DeFi is only 5 minutes old. We really are on the cusp of something that could truly change the world. And being part of that is just too exciting to not be there. This feels to me like 1998, right? Okay. I was around in 1998. And that was kind of the tech boom. But even when we went through the 2000 tech crash, that's when things got exciting. And people say to me, look, when do you think that crypto is going to kind of crash? And the answer is, well, when was the last time we had a tech crash? And the answer was 21 years ago. And the reason why is no matter what the prices are or valuations of stocks in technology, the amount of value that's produced is so significant. Like it's like a freight train of value creation, right? And that means that even if the prices are high today, in 6 months' time they're cheap because the value's been created. And I'm really seeing the same trend now in blockchain. And I just think that's, in the whole crypto space, it's so exciting. There are things in crypto that won't last, right? And there'll be things that fall to the side. But there is enormous value now. You're looking at Solana, Polkadot, Ethereum 2.0, even businesses like Chainlink and all of these other businesses that are part of this massive ecosystem. The freight train has left the station in terms of how that value is now being built. And that did not exist 3 years ago. It does exist now. And so, prices will go up and down. But the long-term trend is something I'm very positive about, and what we're wanting to do with Minterest is to be able to bring that kind of technology to the general public. That's a real strong commitment inside this team. We really want to mainstream DeFi over the next 5 years. How do we get our mums and dads right to use DeFi?
Right.
And that's when it gets really, really interesting. So that's something we're really, we're very passionate about here in this team.
Right. Hey, Josh, is there anything else you want to share with our communities, or you have any suggestions to other people?
Well, look. The key. First of all, please connect with us. So please go and see communities on Telegram and in Twitter and in Discord. We have some big public events coming out. We've got an LBT coming up in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so that's all on the 15th of December. So please do reach out to us and find out all about that. I suppose the thing I do want to share is that the LBT is really cool. I'm very proud of it. What we have done is we've created, for people who participate in the LBT, we've created 3,000 Minterest NFTs. So what the NFTs represent is the top 100 most influential people in blockchain ever. So number one is Satoshi, right? And we've had artists go and create original images of all of the top 100 people, right? They're digital art, high quality, done well. But the NFTs aren't collectible. The NFTs come with utility. So what that means is the NFTs will give you a boost in token emissions in the protocol. And they give you access to our private launch. So we are doing a private launch that will be closed to the public, and only people who can participate are people who own an NFT, which you get in the LBT. And the reason that's important is because the tokens that are in the private launch are very substantial, and there's only a small number of people there. And the reason we're doing that is because we get enormous value, because we run the protocol through a full cycle, right? We run through a full buyback cycle. So we run a private launch for like 4 to 6 weeks. But it means that people who provide liquidity to protocols will they'll receive significant token benefit by being there. So please go and find out the details of that. It's something new, it's something fresh that hasn't been done before, and something we're very proud of.
Okay, thanks very much. I think that's pretty much about it. Thanks for the vendor for sharing, Josh. Really appreciate your time with us, and we are so optimistic about Minterest, and we do believe it will have a brighter future. Well, 63K PCAM, yeah, thank you. 63 PCAM will gradually add more excellent work. So thanks for joining us. See you next time. Thank you so much, Josh. Take care, everybody.
Real pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you. Cheers, guys.